was like as long as that. Like it was really fucking big, bro. It was girthy too. Yeah, but that would be an unfortunate situation. Let's.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle released their docuseries on Netflix, where the two discuss a variety of topics, including how insufferable they are. During the series, Markle expressed surprise at how obnoxious the royal family was to her, citing racism and other offenses. That's right. The inbred, white family with pedophiles up and down the family tree don't have the most progressive views on race. Shocking stuff out of England. Prince Harry was promoted to Simp Master General after filming Wrapped. In other Netflix news, the show Wednesday becomes one of the top shows in the platform's history. Just like Squid Game, it was a trash show that connected with a bunch of trash people who secretly want to die. In local news, a homeless man who was seen sawing his leg off in the South Street Canal. When asked what he was doing, he said it's how he makes better tips. When asked what he'd do with the leg, he simply said, "Man's gotta eat." Finally, local police have arrested that granola dirtbag in the quad who plays guitar and whisper sings to unsuspecting females, citing date rape and the use of roofies. With the predator behind bars, the streets can rest easy.
All right, welcome to episode 2 of the In the Bank podcast, featuring your two hosts, Jackson Fanger and myself, Rohan Kapoor. Long week for both of us. Jackson, how are you feeling today?
I am feeling great, man. You can tell that my hair's all greasy. I'm feeling good. You know, it's not like I didn't just wake up a little bit ago. We're feeling good. How are you feeling?
Dude, it's a tough morning. Literally, I have a fucking toilet clog and the plunger's not doing the job. And
What, did you clog it?
yes.
With your, was it like what
It was
describe the?
It was a really long shit. I'm talking. It was like a big dick in a porno, bro. It was like as long as that. Like it was really fucking big, bro. It was girthy too. Like I understand why the toilet couldn't eat it up.
Do you ever? Okay, what's more impressive to you? Here's a question. So, like, what would you take more pride in? Would you take pride in one long, unbroken snake that like is just and it like surfaces? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or one that like piles up and surfaces that way?
So it is healthier if it's not like a long snake. I believe it needs
really
to be I believe like a little bit of a softer consistency means you have vegetables and fiber and kind of things like that in your diet, right? I believe it's harder.
Mm-hmm.
It means it's kind of been sitting in the stomach a little bit longer. It's not as healthy. So, I mean, I think it's more like I think it's like if we're talking like the shape, right? I think like having like the big dick, right? Like the big dick coming out your ass. That's a little bit gay. Right, but I think like the sheer mass and size, right? It's kind of how are you like a quality or quantity? You know what I mean? Like, do you prefer like when you go to a buffet, or would you prefer like a big buffet of a bunch of food, or do you prefer like chefs, like like the small little chef's platter? So, it depends on your type of style. But I think for me personally, I think I'm like just like a mass, like how much, and also it flushes down the toilet a little easier.
So you want it's okay if it breaks up a little bit. You want an island in the center of the lake, is what you're saying. Okay.
Exactly. It breaks up easier in the toilet. I think for that reason, and how bad of a fucking clog I have right now. So.
Mm-hmm. So what are your how do you go about unclogging your toilet? Like what are your steps?
I have a plunger, so I was just kind of like fucking it with the plunger, like just like it wasn't working, So I called maintenance, so they're probably gonna deal with it now.
Those guys don't get paid enough, man.
Yeah, I feel really bad.
They're gonna go clean up your
floating.
shit.
No, there's no shit. It's just like toilet paper, and I think that's like, in the way.
Those
now,
guys,
but
I'm making a massive assumption here, but those guys came here illegally, hopped the border, braved those fucking crazy fucks who protect the border down there on a volunteer basis. They survived those crazy motherfuckers, made their way here, and now they're cleaning up your shit that you can't flush. How does that make you feel? That's their American dream.
yeah, I think I'll cancel the maintenance request. I think I'll cancel it right now.
Making fucking whatever they make, which is not enough. Those guys are G's, dude.
Yeah, we'll see the
I had-
ethnicity of the guy who comes through. We'll see what you know. Then I can make my decision if I cancel it or not. I'll be like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, they open the door. It's like, hey, essay. It's like, go home, bro. I got this.
Yeah,
If he looks like me,
yeah,
if he
you're,
looks like me,
yeah.
send him right in. Send him
Yeah,
right in. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, if he's white, probably, just had a good upbringing, just fucked up so much, growing up, probably has a DUI or two. He can go clean it. You know what I mean? I might ask him to wipe the toilet after as well. But, the guy who's hopped the border was probably in the back. What's it called? Like a caravan or something like that? Like the trucks with like a bunch of people.
Yeah, if there's a bunch of trucks, it's a caravan.
Yeah, and then like they just like shove people in there. It was like a fucking big old pack of Skittles with a bunch of Mexicans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he probably came in one of those, and I'm not gonna make him. Like, I don't want to give him
Those
PTSD.
people-
Those toilets in the vans were probably clogged all the time.
Yeah, man. Well, that's the thing is like those people like they go really hard to get over here, and a lot of them fucking die. Right? It's like, and then you find people, individuals, who are not super stoked on on the State of the Union, let's say, right? Like you got fucking like I talked about her in the fucking the opening, but Meghan Markle is like one of those people. And it's not just her, but it's one of those people who always finds something to complain about.
Yeah,
Like she is. Like, let's look at the resume. Let's just look down the timeline of her life, right? Like she's an actress. She's in an industry where like fucking nobody makes it, right? Nobody fucking makes it. She gets her shot on a show called Suits, fucking becomes famous for that, makes a lot of fucking money, like is famous. Like I would assume that was her dream, becoming an actress, right? I don't think she wanted to be like a poor actress. And then finds a way to turn around and fucking complain about, oh, they did this to me on the show. They did this to me on the show. It's like, yeah, they paid you millions of dollars as well and gave you your fucking platform. So you meet the prince, the fucking prince, right? And then you literally live every fucking little girl's dream. Like they're all watching fucking Sleeping Beauty and bullshit. And if that's misogynistic, eat my ass, right? But like, listen, she's living the dream. She's literally living the dream, and she gets to the royal family. A bunch of like the fucking queen who just died. She hasn't smiled in 60 years. Like she's a grumpy old fuck. There's all inbred genes. Like one of them was on Epstein Island all the time. Like they're not a functioning group of people. And she gets there, and they're like, "Oh, fucking black chick is here. I don't like that." And she's like surprised and is upset. Like. That's literally, it's just such a good example of how people love to find the one thing that's wrong. Like if you look at the pie chart of her life, like 99 or 98% of it is fucking awesome. And then she finds the 2% that kind of stinks, not even is that bad, kind of stinks. And then not only complains about that, but makes a fucking Netflix documentary, like multi-part series with her douchebag of a husband. And then from there, like it makes money off of her complaints. So not only is she living the dream, she fucking monetizes the 2% of her life that is slightly inconvenienced.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a huge fan of the family. Like when the queen died, I couldn't give two shits.
Yeah. Yeah.
to me it was kind of funny. And then let's talk about actually I wanted to talk about you brought up that the what's her fucking husband's name? Prince Harry or something? I don't fucking know.
Prince Harry, yeah.
Yeah, do you think he's a cuck? Because like the way like she seems like she has such a grasp over his life, right? I'll give her credit for this. She did stop the inbreeding, right? Like if she never came into the picture, he'd probably be fucking the fourth cousin right now. The kid would come out slightly retarded, right? You know, she did stop that, right? So I think I'll give her credit for that. But do you think she? I don't know. I just have a feeling she really has this guy by the balls. You know what I mean? Like, really
oh yeah,
hard.
100%. Like he's literally like abandoned his family. So this guy is royalty, and they're like not royalty anymore. They moved to California. She was like, hey, you know all those servants that you have that like have to fucking bow to you, and this whole country of people that worships you for no fucking reason, and they give you all their money, and you're one of the richest families in the world, even though you have no responsibility whatsoever. Like, you know how you have that life that sounds pretty fucking cushy? You're going to leave that because your family looked at me funny.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think leaving. First of all, I think leaving. I don't think she's even that bad, right? I don't really know. I didn't really watch any of her TV. All I've known her for is just her.
No, she's a soft 7.
Yeah. I mean, I've just known her for just notoriously just complaining about a bunch of things, right, and making other things her issue. Like, obviously, no shit, the family doesn't like her. If you're gonna be joined in a, or if you're an outsider, you know, saying, hey, I want to put a little bit of my genes in this incest pool, right? There's something. But now, let's play a little devil's advocate. I just mentioned I hate the family, right? Do we give her credit
agreed.
because? Because if Prince Harry was like, what was it, like David the Duke guy who was at Epstein's Island all the time, what does Prince Harry do? Is he at Epstein's Island, like, you know, getting his nuts off in high schoolers? Like, what's happening there?
I don't think he is, because like, as much as I'm not a fan of Miss Markle, or whatever her last name is now, I don't know. She probably didn't change it. She's probably one of those who's like, I'm keeping my name. But she doesn't seem like the kind of chick who would go for like a pedophile, you know? I feel like she's too, like, in the spectrum of self-respect, she has far too much, right? She's like one of those people who thinks they can do no wrong, but I don't think she'd be around someone who is fucking little kids. You know what I mean? So I don't think that's his vice. I think he's probably just like, the vibe I get is he's like the square of the family, right? Because like a lot of these other ones have like their match like groomed for them or whatever. So I get he's literally redheaded. I feel like he's kind of the redheaded stepchild and was like, I'm gonna go, you know, marry a black chick and like piss off my family because I don't like them. Like, I think he's probably pretty tame, especially compared to the rest of them. I don't know why everyone was so about the queen. It's like, oh, she died. It's like, yeah, she's 92 years old. Like, people die when they're old. I don't get why this is news, you know?
So here's the thing to me, right? I wasn't like all happy. He was like, oh, look at her like fucking past and shit like that. Like I said it earlier, it was just like what I just didn't really care, right? Like I went about my business that day. Like now, so if you're in London or what the UK, whatever, wherever the fuck she was, maybe I get why people there were mad. But the thing that pissed me off was probably people like you know, Prince Harry's wife who probably were wanting to go on Twitter and point out all the bad things she's done like 60 years ago. Right. And that's kind of ties into just what American culture is with entitled woman, right? Right. That's what it is, right? It's like, okay, this has nothing to do with you, right? It's a very slight inconvenience. Let's just make it our problem, right? Bill Burr said it perfectly. Right, these rich white women are just going over with their Gucci boots, stepping over the fence of oppression, and claiming they're something like that. I don't fucking remember. I'm tired, but
yeah.
But I mean, it goes the same thing with her. So tying it back, I think Prince Harry. I think he's a cuck. I think she probably shags other guys, and Prince Harry watches, and she kind of makes him do it. That was only the really big point I wanted to get across, and I think she guilts him into doing it because that's the type of person she is.
Interesting. So you think he's in on it?
Absolutely.
Because I watched the first probably half of Suits, and then I stopped because it was not the best show. But in that show, she cheats on her husband. Not saying that maybe she's method acting. Who knows, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Trying to.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I think she's just such a shitty person. She probably blames I don't know. If you're a girl, right? Do you really want to have sex with a dude who's inbred as fuck? There's probably defects everywhere, right? So I think she kind of blames it on them. She hates the family. She probably pins it back to him. Says, I just kind of love you for your personality. And then I think she just gets fucked like every other Hollywood actress. Just by a bunch of random guys, 3 at a time. I think he just kind of sits there, right? Just watches.
What if his birth defect from the inbreeding is just a massive piece, though? Does that change things?
Oh, well, hold up. Technical difficulty. All right, we're going to switch to... All right, here, let's just take a break.
Can you still see me?
Yeah, I can still see you. My camera just thing. Hold on. All right, we'll take a quick 30-second break. I'll just edit this out. 1 sec.
Yeah.
I think let me plug in my camera. Hold on. All right, we're back. My apologies. Anyway, so let's get back to that question. Does he have a massive dong? I don't know, because think about it. The way genes work are you have to have... I don't know. Do you think the British family had a bunch of big dicks, and maybe you know what? Maybe they just had this is probably why they just kept fucking each other, right? The men were very insecure about the size of their junk, but because it was only the woman that's seen it, to them that was just normal, right? Now, maybe Prince Harry, he's like, yo, I'm not like you guys. My shit's down to my knee, right? I don't need to fuck you you inbred bitches. I'm gonna go get me some Hollywood punani. And maybe that's where he said, no, my dick's just too big. So he might have a fucking giant piece.
That's what I'm saying. What if, because, you ever seen X-Men? The mutations, right? What if his inbred mutation is just a hammer? It's something to think about. I don't know if it's the case, but that could be a factor in whether or not she's going around. She doesn't seem like the kind of girl who would go around, honestly. She seems like she honestly, here's what she seems like, is the one, maybe she is, I don't know. But it's he definitely is not getting as much as he wants. That's the vibe that I get. I don't think, she's the one who wants to... It'd just be hey, she'd be very into your life, right? Hey, this is why I can't fucking do this kind of shit. But hey, did you get the fucking trash? And it's and it'd just be so passive aggressive, and it's it's slowly gonna build. And I think that it's either going to end in her murder at his hands or just a messy divorce. One of the two. Because like
I don't think
just
he has
cuz
the balls.
once her complaints become about you, right? So like right now she's complaining about society, right? But once she's been around you long enough, she's gonna find those fucking things that because everyone's got them, right? Like maybe he's had fucking servants his whole life, right? So he doesn't know how to do fucking laundry. He doesn't know how to fucking do anything, right? He doesn't wash the dishes. He doesn't do any of that shit, right? So she's living around with this guy. Fucking, he's bumming around like, where are my fucking slaves, right? And then she's gonna get pissed at that over time. She's gonna start bitching at him, bitching at him, bitching at him, and because he's such like a beta, I hate using that word, but like just a fucking like he's whipped hippopotamus, right? And so he's just gonna take that and take that and take that and take that until finally one day, like he's got a bad fucking day on the Netflix show. He didn't complain enough about their fucking life, and then he's gonna snap. And he's either gonna fucking just scream at her, and then it's gonna end in a divorce where she takes half his fucking royal money, or he's gonna kill her, and it's gonna be a fucking crazy thing. 20 like it's what I'm
What's the method? Are we just going pure strangulation? Is he gonna hire someone to? Because I mean, he could probably get the royal family to do like a little bit of a hit.
it's
right?
gonna be it's gonna no it's not gonna be like a premeditated thing. He's gonna snap, and it's gonna be
Just choke
like
her
he's
out.
gonna yeah, it depends where the argument happens, right? So like if it's in the kitchen, he's gonna like stab her with a fork or something, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like if they're in the car, he might just like shove her out the side, you know what I mean? And then she gets like down the street, you know what I mean? Like just fucking starts ricocheting off cars on the LA freeway. Like
Yeah, that'd be.
it just depends where the fight happens. You know what I mean? So like if he's driving, right, and he doesn't know how to fucking drive very well because he's been driven everywhere his whole life, right? So if he's doing his best trying to drive right, and she's like, "Hey, you're tailgating this guy in front of you. Could you?" And it's like, "Shut the fuck!" And then he fucking throws her out the side, right? Gone. She's gone. Like if that's the last straw, it just depends where it happens. Like if they're on the beach, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a good. Like they're on the beach, so she's like, "Hey, could you like?" So they got their beach towel down, right? And like the corner on the far side is like folded in. She's like, "Hey, could you flatten out that corner for me? Like, could you just go flatten out that corner?" And he's like, "Okay." And then flattens out the corner. He's like, "Hey, you want to go out and swim in the water, right?" And he goes out, swims in the water, and just fucking holds her down, and just fucking holds her down till there's no more bubbles, and then just walks back in and flies back to London, and just fucking.
Starts hitting his sisters. Starts fucking his sisters.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like he could easily, because like when OJ did it, like he tried to flee the scene, right? But they found him. But if he goes to London, he's literally fucking royalty. Like we're not going to be able to get him back here. Like London's not going to trade him. We don't have any London arms dealers to get him back. You know what I mean? Like he's gone. Like once he gets back to London, he could easily kill that. She better watch out, is what I'm trying to say. Like, and not in a way. I'm not saying it would be deserved if she died. No one deserves to get murdered by their husband, right? But I'm saying this guy hasn't had a lot of difficulty in his life, and if you start throwing at him way too fast, he's not going to be able to handle it, and he's going to fucking lose his shit, and he's going to fucking kill you. Like, it's just, you got to watch out.
Yeah, that was dark. That was so dark. Hey, I don't know. So, I mean, I wanted to actually kind of bring up another situation kind of similar to that. I know you're not too familiar with it. Tory Lanez and Meg the Stallion. So, for those who don't know, pretty much Meg the Stallion's she's a rapper. She's fucked almost like her body count looks probably like a phone number. She's fucked a lot of guys. They're having a trial today based on her making accusations that Tory Lanez shot her in the foot. Now, some key evidence has come out. There was his DNA. It couldn't be found on the gun, which is very unlikely if he shot at her 5 times. No witnesses said they've shot her, but the witnesses have said her and Megan's best friend were caught fighting. pretty much what is happening is as soon as Tory Lane's the story broke out, a bunch of feminists came out and said, "Oh, this is horrible. We need to protect women," without giving Tory Lanez a chance. And now Tory Lanez seemed like he's going to come out innocent. He kept his mouth shut, right? He let the court of law hold everything for him. It's only 1 week. I don't know how many more weeks the trial is, but right now it's clearly Meg Thee Stallion's lying. She's probably going to get protected, and all the. I don't know, Jackson. I know you're not too familiar with this, but just kind of based off that, what are your kind of initial thoughts, kind of surrounding this?
So I have a few questions first. First, because I know everyone's saying she's lying about this. Did she actually get shot, or do we not even know if she was ever shot?
So what was found in her foot when she came from the hospital were some bullet fragments. It was never a full bullet in her foot, right? So it could have just been a bullet hit the ground and like ricocheted. So the pretext of that was they were at Kylie Jenner's house, and apparently Tory Lanez was trying to fuck her, and she got jealous or something like that. I don't know, but yeah. So there was no bullets actually found, but there were bullet fragments. But she was able to walk.
Okay.
She was twerking the next day on Instagram Live.
So she's saying that. So, did she used to be with this Tory Lane guy?
Yes.
They at least hooked up at some point.
Yes, they hooked up 100%.
So
There's
she's
really
saying
famous picture of.
So she's saying that this Tory Lane guy hooked up with her, right? Then went to try and hook up with Kylie Jenner, and then shot her. Why would he shoot her there? He's just upgrading.
He said,
like, there's no resentment there. It's like, hey, peace out. Like, well wishes.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people saw it as bullshit, kind of from the jump.
Yeah.
And obviously, her story so first of all, she gave her testimony regarding the situation, and obviously, like all women, she lied. Right, there was a bunch of holes in the story, and Twitter went on it complaining how we got to protect her and believe every single victim. It was just a ton of bullshit. Tory Lanez, he's only 5'6", and she's like 6'3", right? She will beat the shit out of Tory if they got in a fight. So my theory.
She's 6'3".
Oh yeah, dude, she's a husky, bro. That's a WNBA player.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm curious why I was going to ask, why isn't she in the WNBA? And it's like, oh, because they don't make any money, and she's making money as a rapper, so it makes more sense. But
incredible cash, yeah. Pure industry.
So she's saying, because listen, I used to watch a lot of crime shows as a kid, right? So I know a thing or two, but they always say in the show, you got to start with motive, right? It's like, if there's a crime, you have to start with the motive of the crime, or else you got nothing, right? Like, you got to build your case around the motive. And so from where I'm sitting, and I might not, like you said, I don't know much about this, but it seems like odd behavior for a guy to bang a chick, right? And then be like, okay, I'm done here. Like, because once it's done here, it's like out of your mind, right? There's nothing there, especially if you're moving on to try and like upgrade, you know what I mean? Or at least in his mind, upgrade. And then do that. Was he successful?
I don't know. I think they got kicked out of the house, but I don't know. But her reason
but then turn around and shoot her in the foot
it's
too.
Bullshit. Yeah, it's a ton of bullshit. Yeah, it's just feminist guilt. And she went on IG dude. It made no sense. She goes on IG Live. She starts fucking crying, and then she starts twerking. Like, it's just, she's a mega thought.
She was. So she's like, okay. So she's like, I got shot. So she goes on Instagram. Is like, all right, everyone, I got shot, and I'm just gonna twerk it out now to feel better.
Exactly. Yeah, it's fucked up, dude. Cold world.
I feel like I gotta read out. This is, dude. Listen. It's not a bad thing that, because a lot of these, some of them are. I'm not like, don't come and fucking shoot me for disrespecting you, but like a lot of these rappers, not all of them, but a lot of these rappers now like aren't really gangster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they used to be. Like back, like literally, like fucking Tupac and Biggie were like the two biggest guys, and they were literally like fucking Crips and Bloods, and they were like trying to kill people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's. So it's good that there's less of that, right? Because you don't want fucking gang violence, right? But on the other hand, the music sucks now, and these people are not as interesting, and they're like, you know what I mean? Because like I haven't listened to much Megan Thee Stallion, but everything I've listened to is like, man, this is not very, very good. But you know what I mean?
She makes like twerking music, bro. Like she makes like music about being a whore. Like it's not like
like it's and I mean, it's not just the chicks too, right? Like the guys aren't as good anymore. You know what I mean? Like this, like who the fuck is this? Isn't this Jack Harlow guy a rapper? Like he would get shot.
Yeah, he's a tough listen, dude. That's a tough
he would
listen.
get shot. Like fucking, like he's not, like Eminem was like fucking, he was like breaking the color barrier. You know what I mean? He was. Yeah. It was literally like.
But Eminem
he was like
good.
The reverse Jackie Robinson, It was like, hey, we can do this too, you know what I mean? But it's like, fucking, Jack Harlow would get shot if he was coming up in the 90s. Like he wouldn't even have made it. Like he would have shown up to some underground thing trying to get his name out there, right? And they're like, this motherfucker. They would have taken him out back. Like, are you kidding me?
Shoot him like a dog.
And the music is just not as good anymore. You know what I mean? Because
sucks,
like that older stuff, like there's some anger there. You know what I mean? There's some artistic juices flowing. And now it's just like, now it's just like a bunch of trash and like writing about, like if it's a chick, she's writing about how much she fucks and how bomb her pussy is, right? Like that's a big one. And then if it's a guy.
Same shit. Just how they.
It seems like it's kind of the same, but but then you throw like money in there too. Like it's just like it's like I got so much money, and it's just like I don't care. Like it's not.
Yeah, they fucking. It's just
it's
how they
not,
fucking.
It doesn't have
IG
the same.
Models. Yeah, there's nothing really. It's just all. There's nothing deep in it, right? I think that's why a lot of people appreciate someone like Kendrick, right? Who actually kind of raps about like something that's a little bit more interesting than fucking virtual drills and,
Yeah, well, and he actually has talent too.
Yeah.
Like there's an like it's good to listen to. Like musically, it's good. It doesn't sound annoying, but then also like you're saying, like there's like something to it, and then there's also there's real talent there. It's not just like some 20-something who is good looking and wanted to make music and they just made it somehow, right? Like I don't know. I feel like that's always been a thing though.
Yeah, what a point you brought up was like how like female rappers just kind of rap about pussy the whole entire time, except SZA. She made a great album, but a lot of female rappers like her or like Meghan, like Cardi B, just rap about like their pussy like nonstop.
Yeah,
it's kind of the same thing with female comedians, bro. Like a good chunk of them is just like, oh, my pussy smells and like just crap like that, right? Like at what point? Because I think comedy, the comedy world's already gotten kind of tired of that, right? I've never. It was funny like the first time, and then after the 4,000th time, by the 30th different female comedian talking about how they got shagged by a guy who they think is really hot, and like their pussy was like really stinky or something. Like like it's just not funny anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely, I don't know. I think it's like dick jokes, right? Like every dick joke has been made already. You know what I mean? And so it's like if you're gonna go and do fucking dick jokes, it's like you better come with something new. You know what I mean? Or else it's just not. You're not doing anything. You know what I mean? You're not bringing anything to the table. But like, especially like in an act, like where you have like a special. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Is like, I don't know. I don't mind it. Like I love a good shit piss dick joke. Like you know what I mean. Like I still laugh at every fart I make. Like that's I get it. But it's like if you're I don't know if you're gonna charge people money, that's the thing. It's like and then just like go make jokes that have already been made. Like that's where it's kind of like I don't know. It's not.
Yeah, where you
it's
kind
not
of draw
doing
that
it for me.
line.
So I agree with you there. But I don't know. There are like so, and it's weird too because like it's weird to see the ones who like make it because like Amy Schumer is the classic example of someone who does that and like has benefited greatly from that. And I guess part of that is because she was one of the first to do it, right? So I guess that makes a little bit of sense. But like, then there's other chicks who, I don't know, and this is you could say this about any industry, any whatever. But it's like there's like the first one that comes to mind for me is like Jessica Kirson. She is fucking one of the funniest people I've ever seen, and like she's getting a lot more traction right now, but it's like it's taken a long time, it feels like, and she's just way funnier than a lot of comedians, guys and girls, who get more opportunities than she does.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the female comedian thing, I think when there's like a formula, I mean, there is an audience for people who like Amy Schumer. It's a bunch of lonely, fat cat women, who are 37 still swiping on Tinder. Right. I think there's that audience, and I think when that formula works, right, if you just write another story about, if you have somebody else who has another story about how they took dick in an Uber or something like that, right, all the lonely women, they're gonna, eat that shit up, right? And I think just kind of going back to that point of talent versus recognition, I mean, Brendan Schwab, right? Like, I think that's like the most classic case that we've seen, where if you just know the right people, right, you'll probably get right in there.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you gonna do? But that's I don't know. Like that's have you seen Jessica Kirson yet?
No.
She's elite, dude. She's fucking elite. And what's cool is like when you listen to other. Like how you know someone's good, right, is like when you listen to other comedians talk about them. And it's like she's someone that like I've heard I forget who it was. I've heard a couple people talk about her, but they're like when I'm on after her, I need to like bring my A game. You know what I mean? Or else I'm going to fucking bomb after her because she always fucking kills it. You know what I mean? Like that's how they talk about her. And it's like I don't know. It's interesting. The whole thing's interesting. But what
was the thing we want to talk about with people cutting off their limbs? We can transition to that point.
Yeah. So listen, I was after work yesterday. It was Friday. I was ready to fucking get done, right? And I live down in Tempe. And so I got my car, and my brothers are in town from college, right? So I start driving down to see them. And there's a lot of homeless people in Tempe, but for some reason last night, maybe it's because it was Friday night, they knew people would be out or something during the holidays, but they were on literally, so there's like probably 4 different street lights before I get on the freeway. At each of those streetlights and at every stop sign, there's a homeless person like with their fucking thing out, right? And so let's say there's 6 of them, right? There was like 6 or 7 that I saw. 3 of them one guy had his whole leg was gone, like completely gone from the hip, right? And so he's standing there with a crutch and his sign. And then another guy didn't have his hand. And then another guy, his like face was burned. He looked like the Hound from Game of Thrones. Okay. And so I was thinking, I was like, man, that's really sad. I didn't give him any money because I don't know. I didn't have cash on me. But anyways, I didn't give him any money. But I was doing the classic white people thing where I was like, man, that's so sad. And I was in my car. I was like, I feel so bad for them. Like T's and P's, thoughts and prayers. You know, I was doing that whole bullshit, right?
Started GoFundMe for him.
Not helping at all. Exactly. So I will admit that I did not help them at all. But I was sitting there, I was thinking, man, that's sad that they that they're homeless and shit, right? But then I was like, well, that's a high rate of people who are missing, who have like physical deformities, right? And listen, I'm sure it's the rate of it is higher among the homeless community, right? Because it's probably harder to get a job if you don't have a leg. It's, you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of veterans are homeless, unfortunately, and they're more likely to obviously have injuries. So it makes sense that it's a higher rate, right? But like 50%, that's a large number, right? And so you look at that and you're like, how does that happen? And so I was thinking about it in the car. It was about a 20-minute drive, and I was like, well, there was a thing. I don't know if you were in Phoenix at the time, but there was a guy he literally made like a pyramid scheme with homeless people. And so he just found a way to like, he got them all in a network and then made them give him like part of their tips or whatever you want to call it, their donations on the street, right? So he made like this pyramid scheme and then was like taking advantage. He was like Brett Favre, but instead of like taking the welfare money, he was just taking it straight from the source, right? Yeah. He was taking it straight from the homeless people, taking all their money.
Got the middleman out, got the government out of it.
And yeah, exactly. Cut out the middleman, just do that. And so he like got in a lot of trouble, obviously, because he's like stealing from literally the homeless people. But I was thinking, like, what if there's another one of these? Like, what if a guy has like, oh, that was a good idea, I won't get caught like this guy did. And he's telling these people to like cut off their arms and legs to get better tips. And I was like, wow, that's crazy.
You know, all right, let's hypothetically say I ran like a homeless pimping network, right?
Yeah.
You got to go territory by territory to see what you want the homeless people to do, right? So Arizona, I think there's probably a lot of war veterans. John McCain was here, right? So I guess like probably those injuries there, right? A lot of old retired people who love the military and all that. So I think that's probably what they're thinking. Now, if we move to California, are we saying we need money for a transgender surgery if you're homeless? If you need those tips? Think about it.
Here's the thing.
I don't have enough money, and I'm not comfortable with my body. That's easy money. If you tell them you're a war veteran, I think I'd love to see that experiment. Put a war veteran.
Is it though?
In California, you put him in San Francisco. Put him on anywhere. I'm a homeless person who needs money for a sex operation. Versus I'm a former war veteran. Who's getting more money in Cali? Right? Who is it?
Okay. Here's my response to that, and it's I get your point, but here's my point, is that none of them get any fucking money. And it's because those people in California are they do exactly what I did. And they drive by and they go, oh, that's sad. And none of those fuckers give anybody any fucking money, especially in northern. Both actually, fucking both of them. Like they are not actually giving people any money. Like, and the thing is, the homeless people. I think I said this on the last episode, but like I played golf when I lived in Northern California, and I mean I still do, but I was playing golf one time, and there's so many homeless people up there that like this golf course I was at is literally a really nice place. They charge like $100. This is fucked up. Just this is what Northern California is like. Okay, you go to a golf course and it's like kind of nice, but like not super nice, but it's like it's good. But they charge $100 a round. Okay. And there's literally, so it's fenced. The whole thing is fenced, and on the outside of the fences, all you can see are fucking homeless tents and like encampments, right? So you're like in, it's like The Walking Dead, you know, when they're in the prison and like there's the fence around and there's all just the zombies outside. Like that's what it's like. So you're trying to enjoy your life and pretend everything's normal and play some golf, but it's like, you know, they could crack down that fence at any point and like do whatever, right? But so I'm playing there, and like 3 of these guys have like solar panels on their tents. like it's connected and you can see like they have a grill or something. So I don't think I think a lot of these like homeless people out there are just like, listen, I'm not going to pay rent because rent's crazy high up there. I'm not going to pay property tax. And I think they like have jobs and just like pocket all that, live off the grid, don't owe anyone any money, and like buy solar panels for their tent. I think it's like a thing that happens out there. Like it's not even I'm forced to be homeless. Some of them are obviously, right? Like some of them have tough circumstances, blah, 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 blah. Some of them I literally think are like, I am homeless. Like, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, dude, I actually once ran into a homeless person in California when I lived there. Obviously, before I moved here after college. He asked me for money, and I said, no, I have a Subway gift card. Do you want it? It's $20 on it. I offered it to this guy, and he said no. And he got mad at me and walked away.
Yeah, so he wanted something else with your money. It was.
But it is absolutely, I don't know. I think homeless people, I think it's kind of become a little bit of a gig at this point for them, right? For one, let's go back to the solar panels on the tent. That's not cheap. That's probably like a good month of rent. Right, even if it's in like a little shitty studio in Berkeley, right? If we're gonna keep it in California, that's like a good month of rent, right? Month of rent,
easy, probably more,
right?
Yeah.
Now, second, I think the fact that they're all around a golf course is they're hoping, someone can give them a tip, whatever. Rich people. Go back to the zombie thing. I think it also with a golf course, if someone's cracking over, I think it also makes like a little bit of a fun driving range. Right, it's like you're playing Top Golf. It's like you're at Top Golf with a bunch of homeless people, and they're like the targets, Like you see one trying to hit the fence, you just go get the quick little driver, get one right in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Call of Duty with homeless people. It's like target practice, So I think that was maybe intentionally by design, right? Because that's a fun little driving range. Like obviously you don't want people to get hurt, but think about it imagine like you're in a VR setting, right? There's a big fence. Right, the golf balls I don't know if they'll be able to hit, but you can scare some people, right?
Yeah. Well, I will say, like, whenever I go to hit golf balls, I will, and the guy with the cart goes out to start cleaning them up, and he, like, starts reeling them in, I'm always trying to hit the cart, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's just, like, human nature to be like, I want to, Like, if you hit that guy, like, he's fine. Like, the thing's all fenced off. Like, he's safe, so it's like it's a fun thing. I think it makes it even more fun if there's, like, real-life stakes like you're talking about. Like, I could really knock someone here. Have you ever been hit by a golf ball?
So I used to work at a golf course and do the fucking the picker-up thing, right? I actually broke it on my last day at work.
I probably nailed your cart one time.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Well, that was when I was in high school. You were in college then, in California, right? Like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. 2018. I was before I moved to Arizona. I was in high school, 17.
I wasn't golfing in 2018.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I used to when that thing would hit, it would scare me, right? But hey, think about this for a business idea. Let's go back to hitting homeless people with golf balls, right? If we made like a big fence, right, and like the ball had to go exactly through the hole, and it's like you're trying to like kind of keep them away. It's like kind of like Plants vs. Zombies.
Yep.
Right. If you're homeless, I'd sign up for that. You get $50 an hour.
Yeah,
Just fun topic.
That's the thing is like, so you would get a lot of people. That'd be like a great. You know who would have a fucking field day with that story is like CNN. It'd be wild. So it's like these fucking people are exploiting the homeless and by having people hit them with golf balls, this is disgusting. Like, how dare they? But then we would be on the other side like, hey, we're giving these people an opportunity, right? Like they need some money. We're trying to help them out. Like this is, you know what I mean? That would be a field day. That's, yeah. It sounds like a South Park episode, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, bro. I honestly can't think of anything because I'm just like imagining how. Imagine if Top Golf like they had like that type of option, right? You can just go. It's like, hey, let's just let all the people out, right? We'll put a big fence over them. Let the MAGA guys call it. You can bring out the all Mexican crew for the white people, right? Make it a wall instead of a fence. It can be a new form of border security. Get Kyle Rittenhouse and all of his buddies a bunch of golf balls when they see a Mexican trying to legally enter the border. They just hit him.
Didn't what is that guy doing now?
Kyle Rittenhouse. He's like
Didn't he like try to go to ASU?
yeah. So he was actually in a Zoom lecture apparently, and I think they kicked him out. Yeah.
The professor did.
I don't know what happened. I don't even know if it's true. I saw it on Reddit, on the ASU Reddit, that he was in a Zoom lecture for a little bit with his webcam on. That kid's a loser.
And, like someone noticed.
Yeah, someone got.
Yeah,
I mean that kid's a fucking loser. Like I'm not here to debate whether or not he killed someone. I whatever. But like, dude, you got to be such a fucking loser. Yeah. Like on a Friday or Saturday night, you want to go protect property, drive 40 minutes down to go with your fucking gun. Like he was homeschooled. He had no friends. He was on TikTok.
Yeah, go get laid. What are you doing?
Yeah, he's probably getting.
Like, why can't you be? That's literally like, why can't you be like just a normal? Like, imagine his parents. Like, why can't you just be a normal fucking kid and like go do drugs or something? Yeah. You got to go out and fucking shoot people on your weekends.
It's like
what is wrong with you?
Like grow up nowadays wanting to be a cop. Like they chew tan bark. Like those are the kids who chew tan bark on the playground. Right? Is like. Eat their own boogers, shoot tan bark. Like, who the fuck wants to be a cop nowadays, bro? And it's like the same thing with like this Rittenhouse guy. It's like he's probably getting, he's probably like viewed as like the Brad Pitt of like Ku Klux Klan rallies. You know what I mean? Like, I think he is probably swimming in some inbred pussy right now. Like, it's like I don't know. Just imagine this little stubby, short little mushroom kid just fucking. It's like, is it getting hot in here? It's like, no, that's just the cross burning, right? He's just you, you know what I mean? It's just like, what a 180. Just like,
he's dude, that's a whole thing, man. So just weird kids in middle school, right? So like he was definitely a Boy Scout, okay? 100%. He was in the Boy Scouts. And he wore that fucking uniform every day with the goddamn scarf around his neck and it's like cinched up and he like knew how to tie all the knots and did all the shit, right? He might have had one of those troop masters who was a rapist. That might be why he wanted to kill people. Who knows? But there's that kind of weird kid in high school, right? Or not high school, middle school, like the Boy Scout, right? Like the Boy Scouts all stuck together and they're kind of weird. They'd like go like when everyone else would be like playing sports during recess, they'd be like trying to start a fire with like the flint or some bullshit, right? Like they're doing weird shit,
on
right?
Fire.
Yeah, exactly. Like just the Boy Scouts, right? But then on the female side, did you have the girls who pretended that they were wolves and would just start barking at you during recess?
They became the RAR XD bitches. Yes. They became the RAR XD bitches.
So it was a real thing.
They definitely became the RAR XD bitches.
What is it? Why is there a group of those in every school? Because
I don't know. I think with Kyle Rittenhouse, I think he was homeschooled, right? So I don't know for his situation.
Okay.
I don't know. I think there's just some kids who just built in or like meant to be hall monitors. Just naturally loves telling on people, right? Parents, this is what, think of their family, like what their family's kind of like, right? Look back at the Dahmer Netflix thing, right? The mom was just fucking crazy. The dad was always cranky. You know,
Yep.
these kids, they don't know how to express themselves, so they're lighting bugs on fire, you know, cutting up roadkill. Right, like they're like the kids when you're in elementary school. They like kind of go over the bathroom stall to kind of look at you to see what you're doing. Right,
Yeah.
that's some funky fucking weirdos, man. I'm just like thinking, we're really like I think that's where a school shooter starts at. Just being a fucking weirdo, like chewing on tam bark, picking your boogers, like looking at kids funky.
Yeah. I saw, speaking of school shooters, I saw a clip from a TV show, and it was, I think it's called 13 Reasons Why. I haven't seen it, but I was just going through, I was mindlessly scrolling through YouTube, like shorts, you know? And I assumed like 13 Reasons Why was like about, because I had seen like, you know, that it was a show, like I had heard about it before. And so I'd always assumed it was about like, I don't know, like Fault in Our Stars, right? Like 13 Reasons Why I Love You. And it was like one of those like fucking like, you know, the two teenagers fall in love, one of them has cancer and dies, like one of those kinds of shows, right? But I was watching this clip and the guy shows up to prom and he's got a fucking assault rifle and like a bunch of clips on him. And this guy starts trying to talk him out of it. So like it's like the one friend, you know, like hey, don't come to school tomorrow text, right? So the guy's rolling up to prom with his assault rifle, and he sees the guy who was nice to him, and he's like, go home, right? Like don't like go home. And then the guy starts trying to convince him not to do it. You know what I mean? Which is, I don't know how realistic of a show that is, because like if someone rolls up with a fucking M4 to my prom and says, "Hey Jackson, go home," I'm like, adios,
I'm out.
brother.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the heads up, bro. Hey, make sure you get the PE teacher first.
Like he's sitting there and he's like getting in his way. He's like, get out of my way. And he's like moving in front of the barrel of the gun. He's like, no, don't go in there. And he's like, he's like trying to stay in front of the gun. And he's like, no, you're not, I'm not letting you go in there. Don't do this. Don't do this. And I'm like, dude, there's not a teenager in America who would do that. They'd all be fucking gone.
Yeah, thanks. First of all, okay, let's realistically walk through that situation. Thank you for the heads up. Please try not to do this. Right, I'm dipping. Right,
I probably would. I'd bail.
Like I texted a couple of my friends. I'm like, yo, fucking weirdo over here. Brought the strap. Let's get out of here. Right. I mean, you just worried he starts fucking shooting it up, right? All the special ed kids start thinking it's a fucking dance party in the middle of a firework. Start thinking it's a dance party and start running to the fucking dance floor and celebrating, right? They don't know what's happening. So
bad. Yeah.
Look who's playing the music.
Oh.
Yeah, but that'd be an unfortunate situation. Let's.
In other news, yeah, that would suck. That would be really unfortunate, Rohan, if someone came and shot up a prom. That'd be super unfortunate.
All right, all right. I don't know. It kind of sucks to joke around about school shootings, man.
Yeah, if anyone were to actually watch this, I'd be worried. But
we got 2 views. We got 2 views on the last one. It was just me looking both through to see if the audio was working. What was I saying?
Oh, yeah, but yeah, that would. Speaking of weird kids, so I'm a big South Park guy. I have a Randy Marsh sticker on my car, and I was watching one of them last night with my brother, and you were talking about special ed kids. So there's the one where they all go to special ed kids go to camp, like summer camp, and it's called Camp Tardy Caca. And I don't know. I fucking love those guys so much who make that show because they, like, it's the perfect blend of, like, social satire about, like, you know, making fun of, like, they make fun of everyone. You know, they really, like, and they make some really smart points in the show about, like, how people think and, like, you know, how, like, we function as a country or whatever. Like, they make some really good points. And then there's also jokes they make where it's like everyone at Camp Tardy Caca. So, like, one of them is like just like the faces that these kids have that they drew on these kids. Like, one of them's like, you know, Droopy from Looney Tunes, who's got like the droopy eyes and the droopy face. He, like, that's one of the kids. And, like, another one is, like, on a leash in the background, and you see him trying to, like, get off the leash, and he can't figure it out. And it's, like, it's just such a good show. And so you're sitting there, and you're just like, it's so good, dude. It's so fucking funny. It's, like, and just the little touch of the kid, like, it's two people talking. You never see this kid again in the episode. There's just two people talking about, like, what they're doing today at camp, right? And in the background, you can see it, and there's this kid on a leash, and he's trying to get off the leash, and he's, like, running up against the leash. And he's, like, tied to a tree.
Dude, it's so bad. I love helping out special ed kids. I used to, you know, be friends with a lot of them in high school because no one would talk to them, and I, you know, didn't want them to do something to themselves, right? I feel so awful fucking joking about
No, they're
this.
fun.
Yeah, they're very fun. Super kind.
No, they're a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, you know. Pop, pop, pop. Yeah, that's... Are they eligible to get drafted? Special ed kids? No, right? No way. Because that's where that's where the army recruiters are probably, because like you've only seen army recruiters in either like the classroom for like really stupid, not like special ed or like people with a mental disability, but like the really stupid kids, or you've seen them in gym class. You've never seen an army recruiter in an AP biology class. You'll never see him in a chemistry class, right? You'll never see him in a calculus class, right? I honestly think to be a...
So you think they... I don't know. Apparently the Army's had a problem with recruiting because, like, they've had to lower their standards, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why they're all high school dropouts.
They couldn't find it. Yeah, they couldn't find enough people who were smart and fit enough to join it, and so they were like, "All right, we got to lower the standards a little bit," which is kind of. I think if you want to be like infantry, like, and actually like have a gun and like do shit, you have to have the old standards. But like if you want to like be administration and like do like 4 years of service to like get your college paid for or whatever, I don't know how all that works, but if you're one of those people. I don't think you have to like run as fast or do as many push-ups or shit like that anymore, which is kind of a bummer. I don't know.
There's also people who are like,
it's a bummer they can't find enough people who want to do that.
I mean, I'm selfish. Like if I got drafted, I'm fleeing the country. I'm heading out. Just question, like, there's like some people like when I talk to, I'm like, yo, what do you do in the Army? He's like, hey, I'm like, hey, thank you for your service.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're welcome. It's like, what do you do in the Army? He's like, oh, I'm a cook.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does that count?
Yeah, there's a lot of people
does
who
that
do
count? Like, do I say thank you for your service?
Are you? This is actually a good Bill Burr bit. So he's like, he talks about when he's on Conan, right? But he's like, he's like, so I did this in front of, he's talking about how people complain about comedy now and like how you can't do anything anymore. This was a few years ago, like when the whole, when it was really like people were very offended by a lot of stuff. I think it's kind of slowing down a little bit, still obviously there, but he was talking about it and he's like, so I did this joke in front of like the Veterans Association, like to make sure it worked, right? Because he's like, I wanted to make sure like I was doing these guys right because I do respect them, but I think it's a funny joke. So I wanted to do it in front of them. I did like a gig in front of them, and I wanted to make sure it worked with them. And how the joke goes is like, and so some redneck got really mad at him for making this, and that's why he was telling the story. But the joke is like, so the fighter pilot, right, who goes off and fights in the jet, like that guy's a hero, right? Has all my respect. Thank you for your service. Fucking salute, whatever you want, right? You can get on the plane in front of me. You know what I mean? Do whatever you need to do. But the guy who's just on the aircraft carrier with the lights and he's pointing for the way the jet to take off, is that the same thing? And then like, so essentially what you just said was like, yeah, I don't know. See, like, I'm a big fan, but I kind of agree with you. It's like, I don't know. And there's a big, like, military TikTok is a thing now. And it's like a lot of people in the military, like, post on TikTok. And it's like them they're just sitting in an office, like, not doing shit. You know what I mean?
Twitter.
For, like, admin people.
Yeah. So I think that's probably where the high school dropout.
I think Cook is more. Yeah. I think Cook is more respectful than a lot of the other jobs. I feel like there's a lot of other admin jobs where they just don't do shit, They're like HR people in the real world. They just sit there and collect a paycheck and don't do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, how can you get what was Dahmer? Because Dahmer was in the military. Like, what did he do? I know he didn't fucking go and fight. He got a discharge.
I don't know a lot about Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, I just saw that Netflix documentary. It was fucking tough. That was a tough watch, dude. Tough watch. But anyway,
I'm gonna look it up. What was Dahmer's MOS? Medical specialist. That's ironic.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was. Yeah, I remember that documentary. Yeah.
Is that how he learned to, like, cut people up and shit and eat them?
What a weirdo. All right. Anyway.
No, he seems pretty normal.
Do you think those are the homeless people who cut their shit up too? They just feed each other's body parts. I want a little bit of his toes. You're gonna keep Bob's ties.
You think they you think they do like a sampler?
Like a buffet? You think that's what a Thanksgiving was? That's what they do on Thanksgiving.
They do a potluck.
Hey, we're missing. Hey, who?
I have candied toes.
Flavored gelatin ass, bro. That's like the delicacy. That's for dinner. Whose ass are we eating for dinner? Who stuffed the hot dog bread?
Yeah. Yeah, man. The homeless are wild.
Anyway, we're about to approach an hour 15. It was a funky episode. Before we head off, you got any more final thoughts before we close it out?
I don't know. I would say if you're gonna tip the homeless, give them a gift card for food. I don't know. See what they say. I think you get some interesting conversations, especially the ones that are like tweaking. You know what I mean? Like the ones that are talking to themselves, walking down the street, like having a loud conversation with themselves. Just go offer them a Subway card. See what happens.
Exactly. All right. We're going to wrap up episode 2 of In the Bank. Make sure if you guys are coming here from TikTok, Instagram, this, that, the third, we're going to start putting these on Spotify. I've just figured out how to do that. Clips will be coming in at a much higher rate. So once again, thank you. Make sure if you are new to follow us on all the social media platforms. It means the world to us. We're going to be videos will be coming out every Sunday. And then we'll be having all of our clips, of course. Follow us on our personal Instagrams. We're going to be doing stand-up in Phoenix. That's the reason we've been doing this, to try to pursue that. So make sure you guys follow us there. We'll give you updates of where we're performing and things like that. It's a huge support. Anyways, thank you guys, and we'll see you at the next episode.